Hey, welcome back. I have some nice coffee set up for myself, and let's get just drawing. So this is just going to be a chill draw along, or maybe do your own thing. You don't necessarily have to draw along type of video, where I just decided to draw one of my older designs. I realized like almost every time I just come up with something new, maybe it would be cool to every now and then just redraw some of my older designs, maybe put them into a different position, different pose, have some fun with them. And also the the fountain pen. I would like to call it drama just to make it more interesting, but it's not a drama. It's just sadly my fountain pen, I think, completely died. I just couldn't get it unclogged anymore. It was just beyond unclogging, I noticed. So I just ordered a new one, and I want to test that one out here as well. So this is just going to be a full-on fountain pen sketch combined with a little bit of undersketching, just because I am still not confident enough to just get into it like crazy and do all the lines without any sort of preparation or undersketching. That is something that I find to be quite a brave thing for people to do that. So yeah, and as for the red, people sometimes ask me like, oh, why the red? Is that something special? No. I just had it at hand. I know that animator tend to use blue and red under pencil. If I'm correct, at least with the blue, it picks up much less when you scan it. Although with this red, I scanned it before, and I can tell you that this one picks up quite strongly. So not really, that is really not the reason here. But I just enjoy it. I guess it also smears less. So if I go over it with my hand, which is a nice bonus, but also it's less visible if it is smearing. So maybe it's not that it smears less, but just in general, it's not as visible. What's interesting is that I only drew this car or mech. Is it? I don't even know if I would consider this a mech, a car, a ship. But anyways, I only drew it once and a long time ago. So I'm, funnily enough, I am not as familiar with it as I thought I might be. So it is interesting discovering some of the design choices I made here, and some of them I like. So like, oh, good job there, Robert. And some of them like, what were you thinking there? I'm very, the front windshield is a bit interesting, looking at it now. But it's also interesting that I'm not really hitting the lines the way I would like to hit them. It's also a little bit with the fountain pen. Technically, it should be just a fine liner, right? But for some reason, I feel like I want to use it differently. I want to use it more artistically, if I'm allowed to use that word. So I have a little bit of a different approach to it. I don't feel like using the industrial design broad strokes. I'm trying to be very measured and deliberate with all of my strokes, which makes it interesting because I don't really know how else to do like ellipses. So my ellipses become very awkward and weird with fountain pen. Something that I do notice though, so yeah, my shapes are not exactly where I want them to be, but I am forcing myself to make quicker decisions as opposed to the original drawing, which I did digitally. So there I have the liberty and luxury of noodling around as much as I want, because I can always sort of fix my lines, right? I have several layers, and here I am working pretty much on one layer almost. It's, I would say, 1.5 layers if we take that under sketch into account, just to give me some security. And that is fun from the standpoint that I'm looking at, yeah, I am making mistakes, but life is life and I need to move on, because I am working with a fountain pen and there is not really any fixing that. So that is cool. That is cool. Oh, hey, hi. So if you want to see the full length video with some extra talky parts and music where I'm just drawing, head over to my Patreon, because I made this one freely available for everyone. So check it out if you want to see the longer full version of this video. Continue watching now. And then every now and then I have to pop in or pop back in and work the details a little bit more out with a pencil, because I didn't quite think it through, and I was like, oh, I'll figure it out when I'm inking. But as I said, with this approach with the fountain pen, I like to not be as dirty and sketchy with my inked lines or fine lines, whatever you want to call them. So it doesn't quite fly if I don't have a better grasp or idea of what I want to do. And even though the idea is that I'm gonna just fade the legs out there, I was a bit unsure of what I want to do here. So I just jumped back a little bit with a pencil and just make the idea a little bit clearer. And I still think that I'm going to just let it fade away quite a bit. But yeah, it's good to have a little bit more clarity. It's just because you can then you are also more brave in your lines. So I feel like here I'm very wobbly, as you can see, and then in this area I feel like I was much braver with my lines, and that's a difference in line quality there, and that's what I want to make sure to have in there, that security in the lines. So that's why it's a little bit harder for me to just do the thing where I just start drawing without thinking, just put down one line after the other. I can maybe if I'm copying something, but here in this case, I mean, this would finish there. See, this was also not correct. In this case, I am not quite copying, because I am adjusting the angle of my little Carmack flying robot thing. And that changes things quite a bit. So I do have to do quite a bit more thinking than I thought in the beginning I would. Talking of the fountain pen, I did a couple of sketches. So this car, it was this one here, just another flying old school. I like these old schools. This I copied from an ArtStation person. I will pop his name out here. And I think these are all old stuff. So not so much stuff just yet. Still learning to use this one. As opposed to the other one, I might have liked the Faber-Castell one just a bit more. I don't know yet. It felt a little bit thinner. So I have to see, because I don't know yet how I feel about this one. It is quite fun, and per usual I go in, if I want to strengthen something, just go over it a couple of times and it makes it pop. So it does its job, I would say, very well. I can't complain yet, but just because, as I said, I haven't quite figured out what I can achieve with this tool and how I can use it to the max, and if I want to go super sketchy with it, or if I want to try and be super clean with it. So these are things that I still have to figure out, and I feel like once I have that down, then I will be able to have a better opinion on what I want what I expect from something like this. Right now, as I said, I think it's good. Still have to use it a bit more. But yeah, oh, and I didn't say the brand, Lemmy, I guess. I don't know if you can see it. It's just, one of these days I wanted to draw with my fountain pen again, and it was just totally dried up, and I put it into alcohol. I used soap dishwasher on it. I did everything that people recommended, and this time just nothing made it unclogged. So I was like, I guess that's it then. I just ordered a new one, which is sadly just a loss, but it is what it is. And so right now I should still work out that area, but I want to have a little bit of fun. So I'm just gonna draw a bit of like sort of wear and tear texture here with some crosshatch in it. And here as well, like this is what I like to do. Just imply a little bit of shape with these lines. It's interesting because some of these decisions I just make while I'm drawing and I sort of change my mind about things. One of those things would be that, you know what, I am not going to fully follow my design and try to capture all the details. I feel like this is a mistake that I often do when I am drawing something and there are details. I really want to try and capture all the details, and that is just a little bit foolish, because if you look at comics, cartoons, not everything is super detailed out. There's a lot of background stuff that is left somewhat empty as well. Background characters, people standing in the background, cars in the background, stuff like that is usually barely detailed. So, and of course this is not background, but so the idea is like I want the focus to be here, and then as we pan away there's less focus. Also, some of the detail is just, yeah, it's fine if you don't remember it exactly and if you make up your own details. Especially in my case, I can just say, no, I decided to redesign my own thing. So I guess I could get away with that even easier. But it's not about getting away with it. It's about not stressing yourself, because I notice it in myself that I might get a little bit stressed if I realize that I can't achieve exactly what I wanted to achieve. And that is something about art like this, right? That you make with your hands, that you can't exactly replicate it. And sometimes these little mistakes, irregularities, that's also could be something that gives the charm to the actual piece itself, because it is not exactly the same, because there are slight differences. So I guess I'm just trying to motivate myself to stick in there. And yeah, that was it for this simpler Monday video. I had just a little bit of fun sketching this mech car flying bug insect thing. But yeah, I do hope you enjoyed it and you learned something from it. And as always, the most important thing is that you folks have a great time. Keep on sketching, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.